Hi guys, it's Connie, Home to Roost Creations here in Memphis, Tennessee. Today we're going to do a video on the product called Boss with Dixie Belle. I've been noticing a lot of confusion as to what it is, how you use it, and when you use it. So we're going to talk about that today. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to apply. I'm going to put the camera down. You're going to see I've got a French Provençal dresser that I got from a client today. It's a little 6-drawer, and I've already cleaned it, and I started putting on color, and she wanted fluff. And this is a good trick if you're not sure if it's going to bleed or not, because mahogany is always going to bleed through. That has been my experience. So if you're going to paint something that's an old mahogany piece, I would use the Boss. Now, Boss comes in 3 different sizes. Right here, this is the 16 ounce. It also comes now in a new 8 ounce, which this is great for like a one-piece project. If you're not going to be painting a lot of different pieces with Boss, this is a good size to use. And it also comes in 32. So if you're a person who's painting a lot, maybe the 32 ounce is more of what you would like to use. It's a little more economical. Boss is used after you've cleaned your piece, and before you paint, you're going to apply this product on there. And what it does 2 things. It blocks stains and odors. So for this one, I'm doing the stains. Now, bleed through is something that you'll hear people talk about. What it is that the varnish with a lot of these old pieces has soaked into the wood. It's just whatever they used back in the 40s and 30s. And this one, from my client, this was her grandmother's. And she's having this made into a changing table for her daughter. So what I do is I'll test a strip or 2 on there with the paint and let it sit there for a little bit and see what happens. Now on this one, I'm starting to get, it looks like somebody came through and splashed it with dirty water. That's bleed through. So that told me right there that I'm going to need to stop what I'm doing, let the paint dry, and then I can go back with Boss. Now Boss comes in 2 different variations. You've got clear and you've got white. If you're going to paint something in a light color, some of these pieces are really dark mahogany. You might, and you're going to paint it maybe a pink, a pale color. You might want to use the white Boss because that will give you 1 coat of white to block out that color. And that way you still have a true pigment of what you're painting with the color that you're using. Something like champagne pink, soft pink, the soft greens, you might want to use the white. Now you can use the clear also. The clear goes on white, so you can see all the places that you're going to use it. And this is one of those products that you can paint on the inside and the out. If you have an odor problem, old musty smell, you might smell a little bit of cigarette smell, something like that, you can paint the inside of your cabinets and the outside, and it will block that odor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this to the side here so you can see the end here where I haven't painted yet. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how to apply your Boss. Now with your Boss, what you want to do, just use a chipping brush. All you have to do is wet it down, blot it on a paper towel so it's not runny. And then I just pour some in a little styrofoam bowl. And this is white, and you can see that. And then what you do is you just start and you just paint. And you do not have to cover thickly. This is something you can just put on 1 coat like you see here. And this is the clear, and this will actually dry clear when it's completely dry. Now, in weather like we're having right now this summer, today it's 109 heat index, which is just lovely. So I'm in my kitchen painting. But if it's high humidity, give it at least an hour to dry. And that is just the least amount of time. If your paint, what you do is you can touch your piece, and if it feels cool to the touch, it's not ready yet. That's one of those painting tricks that if your piece feels too cool to the touch, then your paint has not dried completely yet. But see how I just put it on evenly? It doesn't have to completely be painted on where you can't see it. The undercoat of the wood, this is all you want to do. Now this will dry clear, and then I can resume my painting, and I won't have that bleed through that I started having right off the bat. So keep that in mind. This is not something that you use to bond your paint to your piece with. That product's called Slick Stick, and that's a different type of product that you use for something on like a laminate, glass, plastic, something like that, or something that has a very shiny, glossed finish on it. I mean, this is a real pretty old French Provençal cherry, and after scrubbing it down and that, and starting to paint, that's when I realized that I had some bleed through. So that, and say you're painting your piece, and suddenly you have a small spot that's still coming through. Let your paint dry, get a little bit of the boss out, paint over the area, let it dry, and then you can put your paint over it and it should block it. And that shouldn't bleed through anymore. So Boss is made for odor blocking and for bleed through. So remember those things. You do not need to use Boss as a bonding agent. That's not what it's for. It's to help block bleed through and to block odor only. It's a really good product. I've used it on a couple little pieces that I don't buy pieces that come from a smoker's home or whatever. And when I got it home and I put it in the workshop, and then you open the door the next day and you're thinking, oh, what is that smell? And it was a piece that I had picked up, a small piece. So I decided to try the Boss, because that was when I first started retailing, and I put that on the inside and the out of it. You would have never known. It blocked all the odor, all the nicotine smell. So it really does do a good job. And it is soap and water cleanup. So you can just use your Dawn dish detergent, warm water, wash your brush out, and you're ready to go. So keep that in mind with Boss. The Boss comes in clear or in white. This is the clear that I've put on here. It applies white so you can see where you're putting it. And it will dry clear. And I'll show a picture of that later on. Well, this is Connie with Home to Roost Creations. If you have any questions, you can always contact me. Bye.